Hello and welcome, everyone. Glad to see you joined us. We're going to get started here right at the top of the hour. Audio looks like it's sounding good. Where are people coming from? I'm always curious if you don't mind sharing. We're going to get started here right at the top of the hour, but if you'd like to let me know where you're coming from, you can type into the chat. If you're watching on the landing page that you initially clicked to and you want to navigate over and see be able to type in the chat, you'll need to navigate directly to YouTube or Facebook directly, and you can type into the chat. I'm up here in Michigan. It is beautiful, gorgeous weather these days. I'm sure we'll have a couple of 90-degree days here before the summer is officially over. But man, it has felt like fall lately, and that's my favorite time of year. So get settled in. I got my cup of coffee. A little late for coffee, but I've been getting up early these days, and so this workshop's running a little late. I don't want to run out of steam on you, so I got my coffee ready to go. Get yourself a beverage if there's something that you'd like. Encourage you to do that. Again, we'll get started here right at the top of the hour. Again, welcome everyone. We'll get started right at the top of the hour. If there are anything that you want to get, hi Annette. Appreciate your attendance on Facebook. If you want to be able to chat, send a comment, a question during the Q&A portion of our time. Do encourage you to navigate to YouTube or Facebook directly, and we'll be happy to have you. Jennifer's from North Carolina. Welcome, Jennifer. Is it hot this time of year down there? Very hot and humid. Well. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. The hurricane in that area. Yeah. We're in New Jersey. All right. We're going to get started here right at the top of the hour, about 5 minutes. So if there's anything last minute items you want to do or anything at all there you need to take care of, I encourage you to do that. As I mentioned, we'll get started here in about, we have about 5 minutes, 5 minutes till start time. Grab a beverage, pad of paper, whatever gets you settled in. We're going to start right at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock Eastern. Back off of that for your time zone. Okay, about 4 minutes to go. So if you have anything that you're needing as we get settled in here and about to begin our presentation, certainly encourage you to uh, get those items, run to the restroom, grab a beverage, pad of paper, pencil, whatever, pen, whatever your writing implement of choice is. We look forward to sharing the presentation with you. Again, we're going to get started here right at the top of the hour. If you saw me highlight people's comments and make note of those, and you want to be able to type in and participate during the Q&A portion, I do encourage you to navigate directly to either YouTube or Facebook. If you have any difficulties with hearing, Facebook is a better solution because they do include a live closed captioning, so that could be helpful to you. Okay, I do need to. Okay, just realized we may have a little bit of an issue with the tech. Hopefully, we'll get those fixed here. Okay, we're going to get started here in just a minute, so hang tight. Doing my best to make sure everyone gets the text message And it looks like we might have a little bit of a snag here. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you for a Financial Resource Academy presentation. This is our most popular presentation. It's on the topic of Social Security. And we've conducted these workshops live in the past. We've done them face to face, where we might see you at a you know what's the word I'm looking for? University or library or something like that. And so now today we do this almost exclusively via this a live stream event. And so it's been a good way for us to continue to be able to offer this presentation. And so we're happy to provide the presentation in this way. Name of our presentation is Retire Right, Unravel the Social Security Mystery in 1 hour. And we're going to do our best to do that, try to unravel it in an hour. Now, an hour is really not, quite frankly, enough time to cover everything we could possibly need to cover in the time that we have, but we're going to do our best. And that's all I can do really at this point. So we'll do our best. Social Security law is more than 2,600 pages, so obviously I can't cover everything that you could possibly need to know about how you'll be paying taxes on Social Security and how you should file for benefits. All of that we can't do in an hour, but we'll cover as many things as we can reasonably. Sorry, I'm just if my brain is hiccuping a little bit, it's because I noticed that we had an issue with the notifications that went out. And so I'm trying to solve that while also delivering a high quality presentation at the same time. All right, our agenda. We're going to spend just about an hour on the topic of Social Security. At the end of our hour time together, we will do two things. Number one, we will go over how you can request the Social Security filing workbook, and you will also have an opportunity to ask questions. So we'll have a Q&A portion of our time together, and that will happen again right at the end of the presentation. Okay, my name's Kyle McCauley. I want to tell you a little bit about myself, just so that you have a general sense as to what my perspective is, how I think about things like Social Security, and how that fits in more broadly into the topic of retirement planning. So I'm the Chief Investment Officer of Entrust Investment Services. What we specialize in is developing and building and running and managing investment strategies that are keyed in, focused in specifically for the needs of retirees. So that job that we do dovetails right into discussions of things like taxes, how much are your Social Security benefits, pension benefits, other sources of retirement income, and how do all these things coordinate together. So that's my background. I am also the author of your Social Security filing workbook. I'm a chartered retirement planning counselor, an accredited portfolio management advisor, and also a national Social Security advisor certified professional. So again, when I'm doing this presentation, just understand that a lot of the things that I'm thinking about as I'm conducting the presentation are, how does this fit in with your retirement income planning needs, sort of as a more holistic or global picture. And so I think you'll find that reflected as we proceed through today's discussion. Apologize. I'm also still trying to make sure those SMS reminders go out. Okay. So we are in no way employed by, nor are we affiliated with the Social Security Administration. The purpose of our presentation is not to sign you up for Social Security. It is to lend you our experience and expertise in the realm of making a high quality Social Security decision. We're able to do that because we're a registered investment advisor, and Trust Investment Services is our firm, and it does allow us to provide this advice to you here today. Why is Social Security such a hot topic? Why is it that I can do this presentation, 50 times a year roughly, and still many people still show up. I see you. Some of you I've seen before, and so some of you attend more than once. Some of you are attending for the first time. But again, every week we have new people showing up for this presentation. And so, why does that happen? Well, lots of you are qualifying for benefits on a consistent basis between Medicare and Social Security. You have about 3.64 million new folks who are qualifying for benefits every single year. That's been going on for the last 12 years and is expected to continue still for another 6 years. And so, obviously, that brings up concerns about, will this benefit last? Will there still be something there for me? And so, yes, we'll talk about that. Social Security is a vital, important part of your retirement income. And for many folks, it's more than 50% of their total retirement income actually is coming from their Social Security benefits. Now, that happens for a couple of reasons. The obvious one is if you haven't done a great job of maybe accumulating pension benefits or other retirement savings, 401ks, that sort of thing. If you do not have those types of benefits, then Social Security becomes very important because that's going to be your primary source of income. But even for those of you who have done a good job of saving for retirement and have accumulated pensions or other savings, Social Security still, not only is it still here, but in many cases the benefits are quite good. And it's not uncommon for me to see a married couple with, 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes $70,000 or more in combined Social Security benefits once those benefits have been turned on. And so when you think about Social Security, understand that it is going to really play in a big way for most of you for your retirement income. And if you're saying, well, I don't even necessarily need Social Security, the reality is it's still going to play in even into the tax picture. So Social Security has remained a very big deal for today's retiree. Since 1985, more than 84,000 pensions have been eliminated. Unfortunately, we've also seen pensions get frozen. We've seen them eliminated. And so that really, again, has just enhanced the value of having a Social Security benefit. Because these pensions are often not as good as they once were, or they're no longer available, people are having to rely more on Social Security to generate their retirement income. Our last statistic here is not here to frighten you. What it's here to do is to highlight one of the key important variables in terms of how your Social Security it plays a role in your retirement income. So currently, 46% of Americans pass away today with less than $10,000 to their name. Now, if you were to ask yourself, do you insure all the important financial things in your life? My guess is the answer would be yes. Do you insure your home? Of course. How about your car? Absolutely. Your health? Yeah, definitely. But do you insure your retirement? The answer for most of us is yes. Social Security, when you frame it into your retirement income picture and you think about, okay, how does this really affect things? How should I be thinking about these benefits? When you frame those dollars into your retirement income picture, the way you should be thinking about them is as retirement income insurance, or you could say longevity insurance. Remember, even if you're the person that passes away with less than $10,000 to your name, so long as you still have a Social Security check available, you will still receive that check no matter how long you live. Retirement income insurance can be pretty important in this day and age. If you are a married couple age 65, ladies, your life expectancy is 99. Gentlemen, your life expectancy is 96. If you're single and female, age 65, your life expectancy is 95. Did I say 95 for female married? I meant 99 if I didn't say it right. And if you're single and male, your life expectancy is 91. So the reality is that these benefits are still here, and in many cases, they can be quite good. and they would pay you for a very long time. People are living much longer than expected. Uh, I for those of you who have attended more than once, I see a couple of you have. I really do apologize that my brain is slightly still trying to solve this SMS message error. Although we're 10 minutes in, so I should probably give it up. But uh, I do apologize. If I say things in a wonky way, that's why. All right. I've done this so many times, I feel like I can make it happen, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know if you can live as long as this young lady. Maria Morera was born in 1907. She's currently the oldest living person, and she's 117 years of age. All right. Our focus for today, we're going to talk about some basics about how your benefits work, how they're calculated. We'll talk about strategies for those of you who are married, options for those of you who are divorced, and also options for those of you who are widowed. If you fall asleep somewhere in the middle, if you're single and you're going, hey, what the heck? Is there anything here for me? Yeah, there's still a lot of value in here for you in terms of how the benefits work, but also in terms of taxes. Okay, so everyone needs to really make sure that you spend some good time. If you're a note taker, you'll want to take a lot of notes around the tax issue. I can tell you, having run hundreds of analyses, that if there are two different ways that sort of look similar in terms of their, the best way to file for benefits, if there's one item that can take one strategy and say, no, those suck, let's get rid of that, we're going to go this way, it's going to be this issue of taxes. So I want to make sure we spend enough time on that to give you some good value there. Okay. The way you qualify for a Social Security benefit is by having 40 credits. If you're not sure if you have your 40 credits, it's pretty easy to find out this day and age. You can just log into your portal at ssa.gov, SSA, Social Security Administration.gov. And that website, when you log in there, one of the first things you'll see are these green bars. And if they're filled up with a green checkbox at the end, that means you've qualified for a benefit. You need 40 credits, works out to roughly 10 years worth of work. Not roughly, exactly. But sometimes you have 10 years worth of work and the 40 credits have not been hit. So if you're on the cusp and you're not sure, again, you can log into ssa.gov and it'll tell you one way or the other. Okay. Once you have qualified for a benefit, the way your benefit is calculated is by taking the highest 35 years of all of your earnings history. Then applying an indexing factor to that to account for inflation. Inside of your workbook that we're going to talk about how you can request it at the end of the presentation, inside of that workbook are indexing tables. Those indexing tables, you can take your earnings history, plug it into those tables, and then you can see what those dollars in the past were worth in terms of today's dollars. If you load up your indexing table and you see that maybe you earned $10,000 in the year 1980, $10,000 in the year 1980 is worth more than 10 times in terms of your benefit calculation today. So I might be saying that wrong. I think it's 1970. It's been a minute since I looked at it. In any case, the point is that those dollars earned in the past are worth a heck of a lot more in terms of today's dollars. So when you look at an indexing table, again, what you will find is that those benefits will be increased in terms of today's dollars. The reason why that's important is that whenever you have earnings this year and you want to then replace a lower income year in the past, yeah, that was for 1970. It's 5 times. So $10,000 in 1980 is worth more than $50,000 in terms of your benefit calculation. So that $50,000, if you're, say, working part-time, you've kind of cut back and say you're only earning $35,000 or $40,000. Well, if those dollars are replacing a lower income year in the past, it'll still help your benefit. But if your lowest income year is 10,000 in 1980, well, that's not going to be replaced because that's actually worth 50,000 in today's dollars. So don't assume that just because you're working today that you will necessarily increase your benefits for the future. Okay. Now you're not decreasing it by your work. You just might not be increasing it. Now, what happens in a situation where you don't have all 35 years? Maybe you only have 25 years. Well, in that situation, they will take your 25 years, index them for inflation, but then they're going to add in 10 zeros when they do your benefit calculation. So in that scenario, any additional work that you're doing right now is replacing a zero and should have a pretty good size impact towards increasing your benefit down the road. There are a couple of provisions to keep in mind if you have what is known as a non-covered pension. A non-covered pension is a pension that you earn from an employer where while you were being paid your wages, you were not participating in the Social Security system. When you receive those pension dollars, if you also qualify for your own Social Security, you fall under what's known as the windfall elimination provision. And that's a more complex calculation. These are in your workbook. But basically, depending on the number of years of substantial earnings you have, will determine how much your Social Security benefit will be reduced by. It can't be reduced down to zero. However, if you do not have your own Social Security and you have a non-covered pension and you go to file a spousal or an ex-spousal Social Security benefit, 2/3 of your pension count against the Social Security dollars. And if that number turns into a zero or a negative, then you'll get nothing from Social Security. Okay, Social Security, I think you know this. You've been paying a lot of money into this system. Just the other day, I was highly annoyed because I heard a couple of people that I generally consider to be fairly smart talking about Social Security, and they were describing it as a welfare type of a system. It is not. Okay, Social Security is not a welfare system. You have paid for your benefits. Your dollars flowing in over the last 10, 20, 30, 40, however many years you've been working have been going into this system and have been earning you your benefit. It is not your fault that the Social Security Trust Fund is handcuffed to, we'll call it lackluster investment options to maintain your benefits. 6.2% of your pay has been going into the system. Your employer contributed the other half of that for 12.4% of your pay. And I think if you could imagine a pile of money somewhere, with 12.4% of your pay over all the years that you've been working, that pile of money would be quite sizable, especially if you applied even a little bit of interest to it. So again, I'm probably preaching to the choir because you're here, but these benefits are yours. You have paid for them. So do what you can to maximize out of the system. Unfortunately, the system is a pay-as-we-go system because current tax dollars flowing in do not get attached to your name. They are leaving and flowing out of the system right now. Excuse me. So that's called pay-as-we-go. The reason why that happened is because the way the Social Security Administration is handcuffed to earn any money on all your dollars as they flow in is by buying U.S. Treasury bonds. And we know what U.S. Treasury bonds have been paying for a long time. They're paying a little bit now, but for a long time they were not paying much at all. And so that really hurt the Social Security system because that's the only thing they could buy with the excess dollars. Oh my gosh, Doug just informed me. I always check. I checked this morning. Normally I don't check and I say something about it. And then today I didn't say anything about it. I checked this morning and it said she was still living. All right. Well, Doug has informed us that Maria Morera Brañas is passed away. I'll have to look at that. Update my presentation. Thank you, Doug. All right. She was doing good. The last several oldest living people before her were making it to 118, so she didn't quite get there. We'll see if the next person can. All right. We are fully funded. Sorry, we interrupted with talking about how Social Security is in the red. Sorry to leave you in suspense. We're fully funded with the way the system's currently operating until 2037. So that's 13 years from now. So we know Congress isn't going to do anything about this for at least another 10 years, we assume. But what they'll do is they will solve it by affecting your children and grandchildren's benefit. Now, we know that for a few reasons. Number one, current federal law states that once you hit 55, Congress cannot change your Social Security benefit. So once you reach the age of 55, what you're expecting to receive from Social Security is what you'll get. Now, if you go above, okay, again, the text message issue, I'm going to just close it out. It's too late now anyway. All right, I'm going to get rid of that distraction. Let me down. All right, no problem. Okay, so they will solve it in a similar way to how they've solved it in the past. What I mean by that is if you had a Social Security uh, benefit statement from about a decade ago, you would have seen that your full retirement age was 66. Now, a lot of you, if not all of you, have a full retirement age of 66 and some number of months, and the youngest of you have a full retirement age of 67. So, what happened? By the way, your parents all had a full retirement age of 65. Well, what they do is they fix the Social Security system. We should put air quotes around that by delaying when people are eligible to receive benefits. They don't go in and slash your benefit. They just say, yeah, we know your parents could collect that at 65, but not you. You got to wait till 67. So they will do that to your kids and grandkids. Very likely, your kids and grandkids will not be able to file for anything at 62. Now, you all can file as early as 62. Your kids and grandkids probably will have to wait till 65, if I had to guess. Now, they might push full retirement age all the way up till 70 and just eliminate delayed retirement credits altogether. That's another possibility. But there's several things that they will do to solve this problem. Increasing taxes is probably not the solution because they never like to do that. And then also reducing benefits tends not to be too favorable. So unlikely they'll do that one either. Your full retirement age, depending on when you were born, is 66 for the oldest of you, probably 66 and some number of months for the majority of you, and then the youngest of you have a full retirement age of 67. Although I will say most of the people I see these days have a full retirement age of 67. So, having said that, with these full retirement ages in mind, if you file early, you can and you will get a reduced amount. Now, just for ease of explanation, we're going to assume for a minute that everyone has a full retirement age of 66. On my chart here, what you see is that if you file at 62, you're only getting 75% of what is known as your primary insurance amount. Your primary insurance amount is the amount that is estimated that you will receive if you file at your full retirement age. That's the primary insurance amount. So if you file at 62, you're only going to get 75%. So if your benefit was $2,000 and you file at 62, you won't get $2,000, you'll get $1,500. Now you can also delay past full retirement age and earn delayed retirement credits. Those delayed retirement credits can increase your benefit by 8%, simple interest, not compound, per year until as late as age 70. If you delay till 70, you'll see on the chart, your benefit can get as high as 132% of your full retirement age amount, meaning $2,000 gets turned into $2,640. Some people have been asking a lot lately, probably because inflation's been kind of high as of late. Do the COLA increases, do I still get them if I delay benefits? Yes, you do. So COLA increases you get whether you're delaying or you're filing early. Either way, you get the COLA increase. There are three distinct benefits you could possibly file for. One is a retired workers benefit. That's a benefit you could be entitled to based upon your own work history. Spousal benefits are benefits you're entitled to based upon a spouse or an ex-spouse's work history. And then widow or survivor benefits are benefits that you're entitled to based upon a deceased spouse's work history or a deceased ex-spouse's work history. Last time Social Security law was changed was in October of 2015, and basically they took away all the fun stuff. So if you've heard of file and suspend, restricted application, getting a lump sum check, all of that stuff is gone. It's really just a couple of things to keep in mind in terms of how you file your benefits. Number one is you can suspend your benefits at any time for any reason. If you do, so long as you're younger than the age of 70, you can earn any delayed retirement credits that you're entitled to until you file again down the road. So if you say file for benefits at 67, you collect for a year, but then maybe you get a new job and you want to work for a couple more years, you could suspend benefits, delay Social Security for a couple more years, earn those 2 years of 8% increases, and then when you retire for sure the next go around, you can get those increases when you file your benefits down the road. Now, if you file for benefits and suspend past the age of 70, just don't do it. There's nothing in it for you. If you file for benefits and you wish you hadn't, and you'd like to reset your benefit and get a do-over, you're allowed to do that one time. It's called rescinding your application. You get to do it once only, and you have to do it within the first 365 days from when you filed. And any dollars you've received from Social Security up until that point, you do have to pay back. Okay, let's talk about spousal benefits. In order to qualify for a spousal benefit, you do need to have been married to your spouse for at least 1 year, and your spouse has to have filed their benefit in order for the spousal benefits to open up and be available to you. The amount that you receive on a spousal benefit is 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount, not their benefit amount, meaning what they're receiving. If your spouse delays till 70 and they're getting 132%, you are not eligible for that would be 15, 16, 66%. You're not eligible for 66%. You're only eligible for 50% of the primary insurance amount, okay? If they'd filed earlier and only getting 75%, you're not penalized if you wait till your full retirement age. You don't get, say, only 37.5%. No, even though they filed early and they're getting a reduced amount, if you wait till your full retirement age, you still get the full 50%. Okay. It's your benefit or your spousal benefit, not both. You can't collect a spousal benefit and then also get part of your own benefit or vice versa. None of that stuff. One or the other, whichever is higher. So if John has a primary insurance amount of $2,000, Jane at her full retirement age is eligible for 50% of that or $1,000. Now, Jane is eligible to file early. She could file as early as 62. But what you'll notice here on this chart is that spousal benefits reduce at a faster rate. So if Jane files her own benefit, say of $1,000 at age 62, she's going to get $750. But what if that spousal benefit is the higher benefit and that's $1,000 and she files at 62? She doesn't get $750, she only gets $700. So spousal benefits reduce on a faster schedule when filing early. Additionally, there are no delayed retirement credits on spousal benefits. If you delay past full retirement age and say take your own benefit till 70, 1,000 turns into 1,320. But if that's not your own benefit, it's a spousal benefit, 1,000 is 1,000 is 1,000 is 1,000 is 1,000. You delay till 75, still 1,000. You delay till 70, still 1,000. Delay till 68, still 1,000. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So there's no delayed retirement credits on spousal benefits, and that's also true. These rules here are also true for ex-spousal benefits, which we'll talk about in a minute. Married couples, when one of you passes away, only one benefit remains, and it's always the higher of the two. John is receiving $2,000. Mary's receiving 1,000, or Jane, I don't know, whatever her name is. let's just say I don't have a work history. My wife has a $2,000 a month benefit. If she predeceases me, I was receiving 1,000, 50% of hers. So when she passes, I say goodbye to my 1,000 and I keep her 2,000. I predecease her. I take my 1,000 with me. She's still receiving her 2,000. Only one benefit remains. It's always the higher of the two. Now, the only caveat to this is the 82.5% rule. Let's say I am the higher wage earner. I file at 62. I was getting 2,000 a month, was been reduced to 1,500. If I predecease my wife, she is not stuck at 75% or the 1,500. The 82.5% rule says that she will bump up from 1,500 to $1,650. Two most common mistakes we see married couples make come from this reality of how benefits work together for spouses. When one of you passes away, only one benefit remains. It's always the higher of the two. So the higher wage earner is the survivor's benefit. And when you're thinking about Social Security as longevity insurance or retirement income insurance, it's not just for you, it's also for your spouse. God forbid something happens to you, you pass away at 75, you say, I should have filed earlier. But then your spouse lives till 95. Nope, you did a great job delaying till 70 because you maximized that survivor's benefit, and your surviving spouse didn't have to go 20 years with a drastically reduced benefit. Okay, so typically speaking, if anyone's going to do any delaying on their Social Security, it's going to be that higher wage earner. The second thing I can tell you is that it almost never works out, both from a tax perspective and also from an overall retirement income planning perspective. Generally speaking, one wage earner is going to file early to some degree or another, and one person is going to delay to some degree or another. Generally, it doesn't work out that both of you delay past full retirement age. Let's talk about divorced spouse benefits. In order to qualify for a divorced spouse benefit, you do need to have been married for 10 years in a row to the same person. Okay. Married 7 years, divorced, remarried 5 years, divorced. Even if it was to the same person, it doesn't matter. One of those two stints has to be at least 10 years. So look, I know none of you came on here for marriage counseling, but if you needed a reason to hang on, there you go. All right. You may not be currently married. If you have an ex-spouse that you were married to for more than 10 years and you're thinking, yeah, I probably want to file off of their work history, but you've remarried, say goodbye to those ex-spousal benefits. It's just your own benefit or your new spousal benefits that you're now dealing with. Okay. Same benefit amounts in terms of extra penalties for filing early, and no delayed retirement credits when you delay apply to the ex-spousal benefits in the same way they did for the spousal. The one major difference between ex-spousal benefits and spousal benefits is our last bullet point here, and that is ex-spouses, so long as you've been divorced for at least 2 years, you are independently entitled to file benefits off of your ex, whether they've filed their benefits or not. So I don't know if you remember, but I said about spousal benefits, your spouse has to have filed theirs in order for you to file the spousal. But with divorced spouse benefits, that is not the case. So long as you've been divorced for at least 2 years, you can file regardless of whether your ex has filed. One goofy thing about divorced spouse benefits is that if you had a marriage that lasted more than 10 years and that person is younger than you, you hit 62, file for a benefit, and then a couple of years go by, they hit 62 and their amount is more than yours for a spousal, you can switch. Or excuse me, an ex-spousal. You could switch. And as many 10-year marriages like that as you can fit in your lifetime, you could switch again and again. It is allowed. Okay, common questions we hear from those who are divorced. I'm divorced. I'm going to be filing off of my ex. Are they going to know that I've done that? No, it doesn't affect them. They have no way to know. I'm divorced. My ex is going to file off of me. Is that going to affect me somehow? No, it does not. I'm divorced and I've remarried. My ex is going to file off of me. My new spouse is going to file off of me. Are their benefits affecting each other? No, they do not. I've managed to fit a few 10-year marriages into my lifetime, and I'm remarried, and I'm going to die young. No, just kidding. Too much stress. No, all these people, yes, they can all file off of your work history. The new spouse can file off of your work history. And yes, if you predecease them, they can all get widow benefits. It is allowed. Okay, considerations for widows. Widows are a very special group. They're the only group who can file for benefits as early as the age of 60. In order to qualify, assuming you were widowed prior to reaching the age of 60, you must remain unmarried until you turn 60 in order for those widow benefits to be retained. One of the very first workshops I ever did was in a summertime workshop. Lady in the back raised her hand during the Q&A portion of our session, and she said, hey, so if I understand this right, it sounds like I should delay the wedding. Well, in her case, it was kind of a big deal. So here's what was going on. She was 59 years of age, widowed a few years ago. She was planning to get remarried in September of that year, but she did not turn 60 until March of the following year. If she remarried, she would lose the widow benefits completely. Those benefits were just around $1,500 a month. Okay, or excuse me, just around $2,000 a month, just under $2,000 a month. So pretty nice widow benefit. Her next best benefit, if she remarries, she has to wait 2 years. She can't file for anything at 62. She's got to wait till, or excuse me, at 60. She's got to wait till 62. And the next best amount was the new spousal benefit, which was right around $1,500 a month. So she'd have to wait 2 years to get $500 a month less. So yeah, unfortunately, I did recommend that she delay the wedding. Now, I think this is funny because I'm a religious person. You can decide how you feel about it. But she went to her priest and said, hey, so can we just do like the religious part of the ceremony and sign stuff later? And the priest said, no. I said, there's another priest. Someone will do this for you. So anyway, no, I think the wedding was put off. All right. Last bullet point here. In order for you to gain a widow benefit, you do have to have been married to your deceased spouse for a minimum of 9 months. Now, this provision is in here only to prevent deathbed marriages. It is not in here to hurt people. So only real life example that I've run into with this, lady was married later in life. Her husband was in the armed forces. He was shipped overseas and killed in action. And they had been married right around 6 months. So it wasn't as though he had a terminal illness or some known reason why he should be passing. So we just had to submit proper documentation, and the widow benefits were reopened. Okay, widow case study. John never elected for his benefits. He died at the age of 64. Jane's 5 years younger. She was 59 when John died, but she remains unmarried until the age of 60. We meet Jane at a workshop like this, and although it was live at that time. Jane's trying to decide what to do. She does have her own work history, and she qualifies for a benefit at the age of 62 of $1,197. Jane has options. Option number one is that Jane goes ahead. She's 60. She files for widow benefits. She starts collecting $1,537 a month. And over her lifetime, assuming no cost of living increases, she receives $461,100 by the time that she passes at her age 85. Okay, that's what we're assuming, age 85 for life expectancy. Now, that is not the only option for Jane. The real Jane was still working and she actually couldn't file for a benefit yet. She earned too much income and the earnings test applied for her. So we'll look at that. Excuse me. The earnings test we'll look at in just a second. But just understand the real Jane could not file at 60. Now, the real Jane did strategy number one, which is she filed at the age of 62 once she actually retired. So she worked a couple more years and then she retired at 62, filed for her own benefit first, and then widow benefits max out at full retirement age. So you notice at age 67, she actually switches to the widow benefits. That result leads to her receiving, again, with no cost of living increases, $77,000 additional dollars over her lifetime simply for knowing and understanding her options. Now, if Jane was ready to retire, she could have filed for benefits at age 60 and received those benefits until 70, but Social Security isn't going to do this automatically for her. She has to know to do this and go in and file for those benefits. And what happens is her own benefit increased to full retirement age, delayed retirement credits till 70 is actually worth $2,108. So she starts at $1,537 from John's widow benefit. And then at age 70, she could switch and increase her benefit. Over her lifetime, that's more than $100,000 more simply for knowing and understanding her options. I just mentioned the earnings test. The earnings test applies whenever you are working, you have earned income, specifically W-2, 1099, or self-employment. Earned income from an employer. These are not dollars that you're getting from an annuity or a pension or a withdrawals from your 401k or anything like that. That doesn't count. It's earned income specifically. If your earned income is above $22,320 and you have not yet reached your full retirement age and you file for Social Security cares. Okay, how much do they care? They care about $1 for every two that you earn above the limit. So let's say you have an income of $62,320. $62,320 minus the earnings limit of $22,320 leaves you with $40,000 above the limit. Social Security cares about 1 for 2, so we chop it in half, and that means you are ineligible to receive $20,000 of Social Security. If your Social Security, if your Social Security benefit is $2,000 a month, $2,000 goes into $20,000 10 times, meaning you do not receive a Social Security check in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Then you receive a $2,000 check in November and a $2,000 check in December. Some people mistakenly assume that you'll still receive a Social Security check all year. It'll just be a reduced amount. No, they simply will not pay you anything until you've paid back what you're ineligible to receive. In the year, this is the right-hand side of the column. It almost never applies to anybody, so I'm going to cover it very briefly. In the year that you turn your full retirement age, but before you turn your full retirement age, your earnings test goes up to $59,520, and it's a 1 for 3 calculation. Let's talk taxes. Taxes is needlessly convoluted and complicated. Why did they do that to us? I don't know, but they did. This is publication 915. It is a 33-page document that the IRS produces every single year to tell you everything you could possibly need to know about how you'll be paying taxes on your Social Security benefits. There are some helpful things in this document. One of them is this worksheet. This worksheet details out for you the 19-step process that you must go through to know how much tax you're going to owe on your Social Security benefits. Don't worry, we are not going to go through all 19 steps, okay? What we are going to do is we're going to spend some time focusing on some of the key important variables that I know will be helpful to you as you're thinking about how do I think about this issue of taxes and my Social Security. I think it's like line 4 or something like that, is this very important number. It's called provisional income. Provisional income is the number that determines everything else about how you'll be paying taxes on Social Security. Provisional income is 3 separate items. Number 1, all of your adjusted gross income, earned income, 1099s, self-employment, rental income, interest income, dividend income, capital gains, long and short, all sources of income that you have will count towards provisional income. That sort of seems like a given, but there's 2 additional items. Number 1, for those of you who have municipal bonds, I apologize in advance, but yes, the IRS found a way to tap into that through your Social Security benefits, because your municipal bond interest income does count towards your taxable exposure on Social Security, this provisional income number. The third item applies to everybody. If you have Social Security coming in, 50% of those benefits you're receiving count towards provisional income, the number that is used to determine how much tax you'll owe. Now, I've done this live enough to hear people shout out things like, hey, that's double dipping. And so, look, if you're feeling that way, I certainly understand it, but it's just how it works. Single people, if your provisional income number goes above $25,000, you start paying taxes on Social Security. Married couples, if your provisional income number goes above $32,000, you start paying taxes on Social Security. Back to single. If you're single and your provisional income number is above $34,000, you could be paying tax on as much as 85% of your Social Security benefits. Married couples, $44,000 is your number that would cause you to be paying tax on as much as 85% of your benefits. So we haven't answered the real question yet. How much tax are we talking about? Well, this is where it gets complicated. So let's deal with this by an example. Let's say you're cruising along through retirement and everything's going just fine. You've got some income dollars coming in from 401ks or IRAs, maybe some pension income, maybe you have some rental. It doesn't matter, right? You have your income sources today. You got Social Security coming in also, and you're cruising along through retirement and everything's going just fine. But you wake up one day and your spouse or a friend or a loved one, someone says, hey, I'd really like to go on a trip. You want to go with me? And you say, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's why we retired, so we could enjoy things. So you're figuring out where you're going to go. You come up with the plan, the budget, you get it all situated, and you've got it together. You got your plan. Great. How much did we rack up on the credit card? You've booked all your hotels and everything, the travel, all that. Well, maybe you had some cash on hand. So after it's all said and done, you still have a credit card bill for $12,000. Let's say 10. I don't know. I don't need to complicate the math. $10,000. So your credit card bill is $10,000. And you don't carry a credit card bill. You say, hey, no, we pay this off. So, but you've depleted some of your cash. So where are we going to pull the $10,000 from? Okay. So you look at your accounts and you see maybe your 401k account. Hey, it keeps growing. It's up. It seems to be doing well. The market's been a little hectic recently, but overall it seems to keep going up. So great. Let's pull my $10,000 from there. So you get on the horn with the Social Security, or not Social Security, with don't call Social Security about your 401k. They won't care. You call the 401k plan, and the 401k plan says, so you're trying to take a distribution, no problem. We can get that taken care of for you. But how much tax would you like to have withheld from the distribution? Oh, yeah, right, of course. You have to pay taxes. I knew that. So maybe you know, or you do some digging and you see, I'm in the 12% marginal rate, tax rate. So let's withhold 12%, please. No problem. They send you your funds. You pay off your credit card. You go on your trip. Everything's looking good until next year You are punching stuff into TurboTax or H&R Block or whatever your thing is, or you shipped it all off to the accountant, and the accountant gives you a call. Hey, you owe money. What do you mean? I never owe money. Or the number that tells you how much refund you're getting in TurboTax. It's not turning green. I like green. It's still red. Why is it red? I don't like red. The red means I owe money. I never owe money. Why TurboTax is broken? No. TurboTax isn't broken. Your accountant, unfortunately, is not wrong. Here's what happened. When you took your $10,000 out of your 401k plan, you were supposed to be taxed at 12% on that. That was right. But what you didn't account for is that you were above these limits. And by being above these limits, you added 12% taxes on the $10,000 distribution from the 401k, but you actually simultaneously caused an additional $10,000 of Social Security to become taxable. You weren't paying taxes on it before. It became taxable because you took out more money from the 401k. 12% here plus 12% here, effective tax rate of 24% on that distribution. That's a bummer. Nobody likes owing taxes, even if it's only $1,200 in this example. But you're not going to make that mistake again. So maybe you're like a lot of people I see. Do a great job of getting your employer-sponsored matches. You're building up the IRA accounts. You're reducing your taxes while you're working, because surely my taxes will be less when I'm retired, and those accounts grow. And then you get into retirement and you do what you can to reduce some of your spending. You know, I've seen people go down to one vehicle for married couples. I've seen people go, do I really need Netflix and Hulu? Maybe cancel one. And that you do all these things to get your spending down so that you can retire, have a successful and enjoyable retirement, hit some of those bucket list items, but also so you can take care of yourself later in life as you age. You don't want to be a burden to your family. You're going to make sure that you can take care of yourself. So what happens? That 401k or IRA account, it just kind of keeps growing. You don't take that much out of it. It keeps getting bigger. And then one day you wake up and happy birthday. For most of you, it's going to be 63. Some of you are 65. So it depends on your date of birth, but 63 or 65 for most of you, you have what is known as a required minimum distribution. And that required minimum distribution forces you to pull money from your 401k, IRA, 403b, 457, TIAs, TSPs, simple IRAs, SEP IRAs, all of those accounts that you put money in tax deferred, but now the IRS would like to collect on those taxes that you owe. So they're going to do what they can to get those taxes paid, and that means a required minimum distribution. The larger that account is, the more you have to pull. And if that account is so sizable that that distribution is quite sizable, and whoops, I'm not in the 12% tax bracket anymore. Maybe I've bumped up to the 22% tax bracket. Or maybe we're in a time when the tax code has reverted and I'm bumped up to the 25% tax bracket. Now, on this double taxation that I create from the required minimum distribution, it's not 12% plus 12% is 24. It's now 22 or 25, and 25 is 50. These are the kinds of tax mistakes that we really want to help you avoid. And the only way to avoid them is to do pre-planning, to have a plan in place that helps you dodge this stuff. Let's talk about a case study that highlights this important issue of how taxes affect Social Security. Clients are 64 and 62. They have $34,000 in combined Social Security benefits if they file as early as possible in retirement at age 62. They're going to have $752,000 in 401k and IRA assets at retirement. They will be able to earn 6% in a rate of return on those investments, and they'll need to increase their $70,000 a year income goal by 3% per year to keep up with inflation. They will live to 86 and 89 respectively. If this couple files Social Security early, what you will notice is the blue lines are the dollars they're receiving from Social Security. The orange lines above the blue lines are the dollars that they are pulling from their 401k and IRA assets. They have to do that because the red line sloping up and above across the screen, increasing with inflation, is their income target. The amount of the orange lines above the red line is the amount they're paying in taxes. When this couple files Social Security early, it does require them to pull a sizable amount from their investments. When they do that, over time, as they pull out more and more to keep up with inflation, you are noticing correctly the amount of orange above the red is not increasing linearly, it's increasing exponentially. And that is because of that double taxation process I described a moment ago. Eventually, this couple runs out of money 14 years too soon. Now, this couple, and I'm sure many of you could benefit from lots of different tax planning strategies, Roth conversions, restructuring investment accounts to generate different types of income. All of that would definitely make sense for many of you. However, for our example here today, we are not initiating any advanced tax planning. We are simply changing the way that they're filing Social Security. The reason why I'm keeping it that simple is because I want you to leave today understanding and knowing that this Social Security decision you're about to make is as much a tax planning decision as anything else. The difference between this slide and the next slide is only a change in the Social Security filing strategy. If this couple will fund the early years of their retirement with their investments only, switch on their benefits on a delayed schedule, maximizing what they are receiving from Social Security, you'll notice that those blue lines are covering more than 80% of their total retirement income need, drastically reducing how much they need from their investments from that point looking forward. And I don't know if you can see it, there's a little bit of orange line above the red, but not much. It is not uncommon when we do pre-planning for folks to put them in a position where they pay very little and sometimes $0 in taxes when they file Social Security. This couple also, by taking all of that pressure off their portfolio, they don't run out of money. If we compare the tax situation, what you'll notice here is that yes, by delaying Social Security, the blue lines above the orange in these early years, they pay a little bit more in taxes in the early years. But look at all the orange lines above the blue lines, all the excess taxes being paid simply because they chose to file Social Security early. Now, eventually the taxes go away. There's no more orange lines, but they're broke, so it's not a good deal. Okay, this couple, if they'll optimize their Social Security strategy, they get $186,000 more out of their benefits. Their portfolio lasts 14 more years, and they pay $35,000 less in taxes, even though they're not paying any taxes for 14 years in the non-optimized strategy. In the non-optimized strategy, even while not paying any taxes for a long time, they still paid too much in taxes. So it's a win across the board. Okay, a couple of quick things about your statement. On your Social Security statement, there are no future cost of living adjustments applied. It's just a snapshot of today's benefits. Your statement assumes you work all the way till 62, retire, file immediately. Or all the way till full retirement age, retire, file immediately. Or all the way till 70, retire, file immediately. Okay? There's no, well, what if I retire, say at 65, start Medicare, but delay taking Social Security maybe till my full retirement age? That's not on your benefit statement. For some of you, it's not a big discrepancy, but for others of you, depending on your work history, there could be a reason why that would need to be adjusted. It's your work history only. No spousal coordination, no widow benefits, no ex-spousal, and then certainly and obviously no advice. So look, after hearing our presentation today, you may or may not feel that you could use a more individualized assessment of your benefits. If you feel that way, we are going to make available to you a free Social Security analysis. This analysis does not cost you anything. And so the natural question is, so what's the catch? If I get this free analysis, what's in it for you? Well, let me explain. We view this analysis as like a sample, right? A sample, when you go to the grocery store or Costco on the weekends, and you go, why am I here? Costco on the weekends, one of the only redeeming qualities, I have 4 kids. So the only redeeming benefit about Costco on the weekends is they often have a lot of samples out. And so the kids get a little snack and they're happy while we get our weekend shopping done at Costco. So, what's the point of the sample? Because they love giving away free stuff. Well, not exactly. What they're hoping is that you will try it and you'll say, hey, I wasn't thinking about buying that, but it's pretty good. Yeah, let's throw some of that in the cart, honey. Okay, that's what they're hoping for. So, that's how we kind of feel about this analysis. It is a very good sample of the work and the value that we provide to our clients in the realm of retirement planning and investing. It is our expectation that if you get this free analysis from us, that there's a very good chance that we may earn the right or the privilege, or maybe I should say the honor, of serving you with other retirement planning or investing needs that you may have if you get this analysis from us. Okay. Now, this analysis, if you think it might be helpful to you, let me tell you a little bit about what's inside. First and foremost, personalized strategies specific to your situation. If you're not sure when you should file, this will lay it out for you. It'll tell you exactly what the right timing is. It will give you dollars and cents on when it makes the most sense. It will also look at multiple strategies and compare them and tell you what the break evens are. We can do a time value of money analysis on it to make sure you're making the right decision in the greater context of everything you have going on. All of that is a part of the analysis. But probably the biggest and most important part is the portion that will show you just what an impact this makes when it comes to your taxes. And why isn't this loading? Hey, there we go. And your overall retirement income. So, for example, this couple had a big goal about leaving more money to their kids and grandkids. It's one of their dreams. They didn't get any help from their parents. They're actually second generation immigrants. And so they, have this big goal of they really want to set their family up for the future. What's your goal? Maybe you want to just spend more money. You want to be able to maximize what you're able to spend in retirement. Great. This analysis will help you understand that as well. But this couple is able to pass on more than $3 million more. Well, excuse me, $2.2 million more to their beneficiaries by implementing a Roth conversion strategy on top of their overall Social Security and cash flow strategies. Okay. So that's all part of the analysis. A few quick things as we wrap up here. We are going to have a Q&A portion of our time, so if you have any questions, I encourage you to type these into the chat. I'll be happy to answer them in just a minute. A few things about our organization. The Financial Resource Academy does this workshop in cooperation with the National Social Security Association. It is the association that credentials people as National Social Security Advisor Certified Professionals. Our organization partners with retirement planners across the country, and we have in our network some of the top retirement planners available who also have, very importantly, a National Social Security Advisor certification. Social Security law is more than 2,600 pages. You cannot accidentally become an expert in this topic. It requires ongoing education, and the National Social Security Advisor certification does provide that. So all of our, anyone that you meet with to get your analysis will have that credentialing. To request the analysis, you're going to go to the same website that you request the workbook. So if you're ready to request the workbook, you do want to go to ssa.gov. Okay, ssa.gov. Whoops, I just said that wrong. ssworkbook.com. Just trying to, it's been a little bit fun today with all the technology stuff. So I'm trying to get this in place. Part of the thing that normally would have this link pop up in the chat for you is currently failed with the, you can use the QR code that just popped up on the screen. You can click on the link that should have popped up in the chat. That's ssworkbook.com. Request the workbook. If you want the analysis, you can request it through there. The analysis can be provided to you regardless of your location. So all of the advisors that are retirement planners that are a part of our network that to provide this analysis to you have been personally trained by me. So I hope you find that to be a good thing. But they've been personally trained by me, and they are National Social Security Advisor certified professionals. So you go to ssworkbook.com. It will take you to a way that you request the workbook. And then if you would like to request the analysis, you'll simply select it on that screen. And when you're there and you select that, once you submit your form, it will take you to a scheduling page. And that scheduling page will allow you to book your visit. So schedule your time to get your analysis together. Okay. The analysis is conducted via video conference. So, regardless of your location, it'll be a video conference session that you will conduct to get your analysis together. If you want to be on video, perfect. If you don't, no problem. We will be on video. So, a member of our team of exceptional planners at the Financial Resource Academy will be available to you in that way. Okay. If you have questions, please do punch them into the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you did not go into, if you're watching this, say, on the website, and you didn't click through to go to YouTube or Facebook directly, and you want to type in a question, you actually have to go to one of those two platforms to type in your question. Thank you, Annette. Appreciate that. So just like I highlighted Annette's comment here, that's what I'll do if you type in a question, and I'll be happy to answer it. Okay, I see many of you are requesting the workbook and an appointment now, so I want to give you a minute. I won't rush away here. I'll give you a chance to come back and ask your questions. You're welcome, Christina. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Great, good. Yep. Again, I won't rush away. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to hold tight and wait for anyone to get their question answered. Hi, Jane. Yes, the weather is excellent. So when you book your visit, you should receive a list from the retirement planner that you're assigned to. So that the information, if I were to just summarize it, is anything that you'll use to generate retirement income. So like pensions, 401k, IRAs, brokerage accounts, information about rental properties if you have that. Really anything that affects your retirement income picture, you want to have information with you about. Requesting workbook? Okay, good. Josephine. Good question. Let me take a look. I believe it modifies to your. Um, but let me look here. You're welcome, Jane. Okay. Sorry, Doug. I'll have your answer here in just a second. Okay. So. Okay. So there should be a drop down that has the time zone, Doug. So when I look at that calendar, I just pulled it up on my end. Down at the bottom, it should say the time zone that it's pulling from. It should default to your time zone, but just check it to make sure. If you're using any kind of you know um, internet security, sometimes it might block that. So, but you should see it there at the bottom, Doug, the time zone. Hope that helps. Okay, I think we'll wrap up for tonight. Appreciate everyone's attendance, and we look forward to interacting with you in the future. If this is your first time, we certainly would welcome you again and be happy to have you. With that, we'll wrap up for today. I wish everyone a wonderful evening. Take care, everyone.